So today we're gonna go over the fight that happened between New 52 Superman versus Wraith. Now this is during the Unchained series, and it was 9 issues long. It was an actual good series. I actually loved it. But throughout, there are several feats that took over. There were striking feats, durability feats, and even speed feats. So I'm gonna break it down to you how the feats go. Now, by issue 2, Superman and General Lane have some sort of confrontation. They're having a small little talk, and General Lane actually reveals his new weaponry that he has developed. And so he gives a brief description of what these tanks carry. He went from saying black hole lasers to black hole 50 caliber rounds and even rockets. He gives a small little description of the arsenal that his tanks carry. Now, in order to get an estimation or a basis to what is going on, how to estimate the feats, I'm gonna have to do some math in this. Now, take note that this is not gonna be, you don't have to take my numbers for it. You don't necessarily have to take it exact. I know that there's a lot of probabilities and there's a lot of things that it comes to question. But when it comes to feed, this is like some sort of basis understanding of what is going on to see how Superman's durability and striking power it really is. Now, observing General Lane's height next to one of these tanks and also the laser weaponry being pointed at Superman, we get to have some sort of estimation to how tall these tanks are. Now, a military standard Humvee is just as tall as General Lane. You can just see the Marine, this real life picture of a Marine next to one of these Humvees. Now, when General Lane has given the order to fire, you could see his head next to these turrets. So it is also very similar to this US Marine next to this TOW missile being fired. So I'm going to be using the TOW missile's dimensions in order to estimate the energy used to fire against Superman. Now, the TOW missile makes sense because, for one, General Lane next to the turrets are actually bigger than General Lane's head in comparison to the Marine next to the missile that is being fired. That seems of a little bit smaller in width. And not only that, we have to take into consideration Superman's height. Superman is approximately 6'3". Wraith, it is definitely taller than that. Cannot find any official height on him. But seeing that Superman is already on the NBA level height, and you got this guy even bigger and broader, literally took about 3 black hole lasers to the chest easily. So going over black holes, you got this nickel-sized sphere, right? If Earth was to be condensed into a black hole, it's gonna be a little bit smaller than the nickel being a sphere. So what I will be using is a nickel-sized sphere to calculate its volume, how many times it could fit into the dimensions of a TOW missile. Now I'm going to be using a capsule volume in a calculator. Now for the math being done, for you math wizards out there, you guys could pause it, take a look at it, see if maybe you can correct it. But this is from what I got from the TOW missile's dimensions and volume being divided by the nickel sphere. For every black hole laser being fired, carry the equivalent of 4,456.8 planetary level attack per laser, and Wraith tank 3 of them easily. So Wraith's durability now is above the 13,000 planetary level attack, and Wraith only tanked 3 of them. As we could see on the scan, there were just only 3 that were being fired, and he tanked all of them. And when Wraith fought Superman on their final battle, Superman's punching were a lot more effective than these black hole lasers. So now you can see that Superman's striking power is actually even above on a 13th 13,000. Although we cannot give an exact level of durability for Wraith, one thing that we could determine is that Superman's attack potency is greater than 13,000 plus planetary level attack. Now for speed, Superman, when he blitzed Wraith, he actually took a couple of scans until he reached where the moon is at. So we all know that light will take about over a second in order to reach to Earth, right? The covering the distance from moon to Earth, and Superman covered around that same time frame. So given this fight, he was actually reacting just as fast as the speed of light. Now, Superman is able to actually show this type of speed when he left Earth going to the sun, right? He left, and you could see the debris on the moon that he had with his battle against Wraith. And even panels later, he got there within seconds. So this is definitely a faster than light speed feat if you're asking if there is a measurable one. So overall, Superman's attack potency, it's on a 13,000 plus planetary, and his durability is around the same range as well. And the speed is on the faster than light speed feats. Now, you guys don't necessarily have to take these numbers completely canon or for sure. I understand that there are a lot of variables when it comes to measurements, but this is like to make you understand exactly the gravity of this feat. You know, a sphere being the size of a nickel, it's already a planetary feat if you tank something like that, and Superman tank something that's a bunch of times bigger than that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you get to see some good feats. They'll be getting progressively bigger. So I'm starting off kind of small and then going up a little bit higher than that. So thanks again for watching, guys. Until next time.